The purpose of today's video is to help you understand the basics of the next new skill that we're going to add to our understanding of Christensen, and that's levels of generality, which you're going to hear me most likely just call levels. It's another component of sentence analysis. All right, we're going to talk about how we level the parts of a sentence. So let's start with a base clause. Here we have a base clause. I wrapped my sweater around my shoulders. It could be true that I wrapped my sweater around my shoulders. We have a subject, we have a verb. Base clause. So now if we want to increase the complexity of our sentence, we can add a modifier. So what if I added this? I wrapped my sweater, warm wool, around my shoulders. So we would still go through the same steps of circling the punctuation, underlining the base clause, finding the subject, finding the verb. Last week we learned that this would be a medial modifier because it's separating parts of the base clause. Okay, and so now to add to your understanding, when we're talking about levels, the base clause is always level 1. So we're going to call this a level 1. And then anything that talks about, tells about, describes, or adds more information, if it describes the base clause, then we're calling it a level 2. So warm wool is telling us more about the sweater. So this would be a level 2. Okay? There might be more. Yes, there can be a third level. This is how that might look. I wrapped my sweater, warm wool, gathered from local sheep, around my shoulders. So we're still going to circle all the marks of punctuation. We're still going to find the base clause first. It could be true that I wrapped my sweater around my shoulders. Subject, verb. We still have warm wool as a free modifier and gathered from local sheep as a free modifier. Next, we would talk about the placement. This is a medial modifier because it's splitting apart the base clause. And we have another medial modifier here. Now think about levels. The base clause is always level 1. It's all about the base, level 1. So if a modifier is telling us more about a level 1, it's a level 2. So warm wool is talking about the sweater. That's a level 2 because it's describing something, and that's in a level 1. Now gathered from local sheep is describing the wool. So something that describes a level 2 is a level 3. All right. That's as far as we'll go in 8th grade. Mr. Stratton may get to level 4s and so on, but I won't. So let's try one from scratch. Gigantic, larger than a school bus, the blue whale is the largest mammal. All right, so we always go through the same procedures. We're going to do that consistently. Find the punctuation. Now find the base clause. It could be true that gigantic. Nope. It could be true that larger than a school bus. Nope. It could be true that the blue whale is the largest mammal. All right, there's our base clause. Underline the base clause. Our subject is whale. Who or what is this all about? It's about a whale. Our verb is, state of being verb. Does not show action, but it is the verb. So now we're going to highlight the free modifiers. We've got one with gigantic and one with larger than a school bus. Both of these free modifiers come before the base clause, so they're both initial modifiers. All right? And now here's our new learning. Let's talk about the levels. the base clause is always level 1. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bracket here. This gets a little bit messy. This is level 1. So, now look at your free modifiers. Gigantic is telling us more about the size of the blue whale. So gigantic is describing something that is level 1, so this free modifier is a level 2. Larger than a school bus is telling us how gigantic. So it's telling us about something that is already a level 2, so this one is a level 3. One more example. Jenny is a cute girl, all freckles and toothy grin. Okay, so we're going to circle the punctuation. Find the base clause. It could be true that Jenny is a cute girl. All right, there we go. Jenny is our subject. The who or what is the sentence all about? It's all about Jenny. Our verb is, again, that little state of being verb. Okay, so we have a base clause, and then we have a free modifier, all freckles and toothy grin. Now we talk about the placement of the free modifier. That free modifier comes after the base clause, so it's a final modifier. Okay, now we think about levels. The base clause is always level 1. All freckles and toothy grin is describing or telling us more about Jenny. So this is a level 2. Something that describes a level 1 is a level 2. All right, so level 1 is the base. Okay, if something is telling us about the base clause, that's a level 2. And if something is telling us about a level 2, that's a level 3. All right, let's practice.